Today's episode is about how a single mother created an astrology calendar that made $15,000 in a short matter of time. The best thing about a side hustle really is about freedom and opportunity. When you have a job, even if it's a good one, you still have certain obligations. You have to work in certain structures. Usually there's a limitation on some kind on your income. You might get promoted. If you work on commission, you might sell more, but it's very rare that that income is unlimited. You also don't have a lot of flexibility. Hello again and welcome to Side Hustle Kings and Queens. I talk about financial tips and topics, and you guessed it, side hustles too. Just a little disclaimer, I'm not a financial professional. I just love learning and sharing all of this stuff with you. I'd like to give credit for this video to Chris Gillibo from sidehustleschool.com. And lastly, please help me grow my channel by smashing that like button and subscribing. Thanks. So, in today's episode, we'll talk about someone who's doing something she loved and cared about, but it also came with great limitations and restrictions, and also a lot of stress. Now, with her hustle, it's not that everything is absolutely perfect, but this project that she created has greatly eased her stress load while allowing her to be more creative. Before pursuing this hustle, Julie Wilder owned an organic restaurant for more than a decade. Her business was super rewarding, but at the same time, it required a ton of work. Years before she created this profitable side hustle, Julie had a passion project where she designed an astrology calendar and simply updated it every year. She was totally focused on her restaurant and didn't have much time and interest in selling that calendar. Then, she updated this design and tried selling it on Etsy just out of curiosity. People seemed to like it. There wasn't anything quite like this in the market. So after selling the restaurant, she decided to spend some time exploring this hustle before beginning some other type of career. But then, in a few months, she had made $5,000 with minimal effort and entirely bootstrapped, without outside funding and borrowing from her savings. And then another $2,000 came in with no effort at all. Julie is now projecting $15,000 from this highly profitable product. There's nothing wrong with running a restaurant at all, but these types of margins are much, much different, and the work is far, far less stressful. Let's think about this product a little bit. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I do know that a lot of people are interested in it, and that's always a good sign. It's also a bit controversial, which is also a good sign, because it shows that people are passionate about it and they have strong opinions. But you never want to go into an industry where no one cares. Polarizing or specific industries make for a great side hustle. Then the product. Since I don't know a lot about it, I originally assumed there are a ton of astrology calendars out there. I learned that there's only 3 main ones, and they all have similar new age art styles, which is fine if people are into that type of aesthetics, but what about everybody else? That's what Julie identified. Something was missing. In fact, she uses the word destructive when she talks about this. She created a modern, unisex design that's visually pleasing and makes it a lot easier to understand the concepts of astrology. Now let's talk about the marketing. How did she actually do it? That's where Etsy came in. She didn't simply just list the items and walked away. She made video tutorials. She wrote a few posts. Then, in order to reach beyond her friend's circle, she joined a bunch of Facebook groups and shared those posts in the forum and found some of the target market. It required some work, yes, but once it's done, there are very few costs. Now, she has a product that costs $1 to manufacture and make, but sells every day for about $15. That's a pretty smart idea and much better to run than an organic restaurant. I asked Julie what has been the best thing about this project, and she simply said, "It's just been easy. I put about a week into the design every year. The rest is just simple marketing and fulfillment. I can't believe a piece of my art that I created can actually pay for my mortgage." Also, as I mentioned earlier, Julie is a single mom. She's able to work from home, and her daughter works alongside with her sometimes. Her daughter is learning a trade, learning product development, and her daughter actually even sold her own kits that she's created and assembled herself. Now, Julie, the former restaurant owner, took what was originally a passion project and then found a way to monetize it. She understood that it was a very big market, but her calendar was unique and she was doing something that no one had done before, or at least not in that way. She also decided the project into, phases, which was really smart. Putting a bunch of work in the front end with design, but then switching entirely into marketing once she knew she had a successful product. That's why this little hustle is on its way to 15,000, if not a lot more, and probably really, really a lot more in the near future.